Good day, everyone. Today we are looking at human idiosyncrasies. We're looking at the complexities of human behavior. And with that, we're looking at the book of Dan Ariely, and the book is called Predictably, Irrational. Now, just before I get into this book or what Dan is talking about, I'm just gonna take some time to highlight the powers of the mind. Human beings, by far, it is not just human beings, or it is not just people being arrogant that they're the most superior beings on earth. Looking at what human beings have been able to achieve, we can say overall that human beings are superior beings. And one thing that distinguishes human beings from any other types of living organisms is that the power of the mind. The mind is the same thing that created the computers. Human beings went to space. We've got incredible knowledge on psychology, philosophy. Human beings have mastered and created a religion. There's so many things that we can think of when we're thinking of achievements of human beings. However, with that being said, this book also exposes the helplessness of human beings. Now, let's look at the title of the book. The book is titled Predictably, Irrational. In essence, it means human beings are the most predictable people who use less or no rationality at all. We are people who think, we just like the idea of being the people who are active in doing whatever we want. We would like to think that we are, would like to think that we're the initiators, but in actuality, we are not. Now, with that, we're just going to look at three things. Only three. And then we're done. One is the idea of relativity. What do we mean by relativity? Human beings, in most cases, they're relative. They with everything they do, they're always comparing one thing over the other. Now, let me make an example. If we're going to shop for a car, when you're going to a store, sometimes, even though you might have an idea of what you want, but if you get there and you start seeing other deals, the original idea of what you wanted to buy, once you start comparing things, you might start to weigh up or weigh down what you initially thought you wanted. So human beings need a context for them to make a decision. We always rely on comparing two things, and after comparison, that's when we make a decision, right? Now, why are we so reliant on the concept of relativity? One would say thinking in itself, it is very tiresome. Thinking is difficult and in most cases unpleasant. That is why people choose to be irrational. They just go for what they see, and without doing too much digging before they really see the best possible product they might be looking for in a case of shopping. Another thing is the second issue that I want to talk about was the fallacy of supply and demand. When we talk of supply and demand, we know that in simpler terms, the more there is of a product, the cheaper it will be. And the fewer we have of it, in most cases, it becomes expensive. And this theory, in a way, has gone in a long way to enslave people, because now it's also been proven that sometimes prices can be manipulated. The reason why we accept something on a price value, another thing that human beings are faulted with, is that when you see a product, be it you're seeing it for the very first time, you accept that price going forward. So it never occurs to us that this product might be cheaper than it should be, or it might be more expensive than we see it. So in essence, the prices can be manipulated. How many stories have we heard of shoes being overpriced, of cars being overpriced? A lot of things can be manipulated. We as human beings, we feel more significant when we're having something that nobody has. You like it when you've got shoes that no one has around you, and even more, you like it when other people cannot afford it. So because of that, business people have started to take advantage of this, because people are crazy when it comes to the prices. That's another concept that exposes the fault and rationality of human beings. We're very less reliant in thought, or we're very lazy when it comes to thinking. Hence it's easy for us to just buy something because it is expensive. But if we thought more about why would we like to buy something that is expensive, it might also reveal some psychological faults within us. Maybe we like to stand out, but instead we expose it in other ways. Now we're also going to the third and the final concept in this video. We are looking at the cost of zero. Now it sounds wrong to say that, but zero is not just a number, especially in sales. Zero is an emotional button. Once people see something that it's going out for free, people lose their mind. They lose their mind in excitement. They just want to grab it. Now, one would say maybe people like free things because they are cheap. However, it's been proven that people do not like things because they are cheap. And one of the most controlling factors about zero or free stuff is that human beings, when they buy something, there's always fear that you might have bought something you didn't need. So human beings essentially fear a loss, or what they term buyer's remorse. So when you're getting something for free, you instantly you know that you didn't lose anything. Now this is when free becomes expensive, because free is expensive, especially when it comes to businesses. How many times have you went to a shop and you saw an item that you can buy that seems to be affordable because it is attached with a free item? That word free alone might have been manipulated. Why? Because sometimes free is not free. That item titled free might have been, its cost might have been compensated in the product that is not free. So we lose our battles when something is free, and our rationality goes out the windows. So basically that's what I wanted to talk about. This is a really interesting book. I hope you would check it out. It's called Predictably, Irrational by Dan Ariely. Thank you for having me, and I hope to see you in the next episode of the same book. I'm your host, Njabulo Diko. Have a great time. Bye.